Chapter 9, Rules and Law. I wanted to tap in this chapter and kind of put a little light on the rules and the law of the music business. And I feel like it's very important because a lot of rules are upheld like law. A lot of people go by rules that people set for them and don't challenge them or even try to negotiate to make those rules kind of come into the middle of the street so everybody's happy. Once you kind of accept a person doing business with you a certain type of way, they will continue to try to conduct that business with you as long as you allow it. I've seen a lot of awareness coming up now about songwriters not getting paid any money for their services and sometimes even being negotiated out of their publishing rights after they have done all of the work and written songs for different artists. For me, that's a travesty. I feel like no one should work and spend hours of their time in a studio or even in their homes doing work for anybody and not being able to get paid. No way, no how. Meaning, if you're telling a person that's spending hours of their time writing a song, arranging a song, and then after the session is done, the engineer's getting paid, the studio's getting paid, eventually the producer's getting paid, but then you tell this songwriter that you're going to get paid from your royalties on the back end of the publishing. That's kind of unfair in my eyesight. And I'm just talking about how my rules are set up. I couldn't accept doing any type of business with a person and not getting paid 1 cent for it. It just doesn't make sense. You can't even expect a person that works a 9 to 5 to sit in a store or in a company and work for free, or punch in a clock and do a job and being told, hey, if this product sells, then we're going to pay you from our royalties. How can you pay bills that way? How can you survive that way? How can you maintain a livelihood that way? That's the difference between a rule and a law. That is not a law that says if you're a songwriter, you can't get paid for your services up front. There's not a law that says that, hey, you can get an advancement or negotiate a price for your work that you have submitted. Those are rules that people are setting because they don't want to pay a lot of money up front and risk a low return on the investments that they're putting into a song. So they try to short whoever they can short or limit whoever they can limit without paying for their services. That's not good. But just as bad as it is for the person that is upholding those rules, we have to take responsibility for accepting them too. There's no way that anybody in 2022 should go into a studio and begin to work for anybody without any rules, any expectations on how they're going to receive payment for the work that they are doing. Personally, I do not understand how anybody can have a songwriter writing a song for them and not give them any advancements towards their royalties for the work that they are putting in. And I also think that a songwriter should never go in the studio without an understanding on what those royalty advancements are going to be for that session. Because if a producer can get paid, studio time can get paid, engineering can get paid, then surely you should be paid too. And this goes for producers too. Never walk into a job or a project not knowing what your advancement pay is going to be, not having time to negotiate what your business is going to be with these people. I've seen so many times in the late 2000s into the current time now, where record labels would do business with people, telling them to turn in their files and the masters to all of the music that they produce for an artist. And then you sign all of these contracts and everything is done. And then you're told there's going to be a 45-day net until we pay you. That's not a law. That's a rule. That's their rules. My reply to that is, hey, I've been a producer since the 90s. I don't do no 45-day net. Let's get an understanding about that right now. Because if you're going to do a 45-day net with me, then I'm not going to turn into anything and I'm not signing a contract. And that's my choice. Doing business and not giving yourself a choice and abiding by somebody else's rules is not acceptable. And you have to hold part of the blame if you accept that. That's why it's always wise to have a manager that can go in and discuss these things while you are being a creator. That way, other people's rules cannot be pushed upon you. There's laws out here that also state about record labels not being able to take your songwriter publishing away. That's your songwriter ASCAP or BMI royalties that you get. And for anybody to even ask you to give them part of that is crazy to me. And I really just don't understand the logic in that. Everybody should be able to benefit from their wages of work and not be humiliated and asked to give things to people that they don't deserve to have, or in fact haven't even earned it. That's bad business. I'm not here to judge anybody because I've learned from my own bad business how to conduct business in a better way, how to have a better understanding, know what the laws are, and know when somebody's pushing a rule on you that you don't agree with. If we normalize things that are wrong and abide by rules that are set by other people, we are making things that are not good the norm. We're making that the correct way to do business because we are allowing this agenda to be pushed on us. If it's a law for a person that works a 9 to 5 to get a certain amount of wages per hour, don't you think that if you work and spend hours in the studio or hours writing a song or hours producing a track, that you should be paid for your hours and your wages of work? Something to think about. Because if you book an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours in a studio, you're expected to pay after that session. So there should never be a position where a person is wasting their time with any individual that has expectations of not even discussing business with you or even trying to do business with you. That's all wrong. Wages, advances, payments should always be discussed before any work is done. It's so easy to point the finger at the record company, at the artist, at whoever you're doing business with, and point out the wrong things they are doing. But you also have to point the finger at yourself for accepting the wrong things and abiding by them and making them normal, or not just saying anything at all. I've learned from my experience. If I don't speak for myself, how would a person understand what my expectations are? How would they know that the rules that they have in place are not working for me? And this is another reason why some people need managers. This is a reason why I need a manager. Because sometimes we are so in tune with an opportunity to create until we forget about the business. Then you walk out of a studio with people with your music, listening to it, riding to it, and then you may get a phone call or a text message that says, hey, that song we done a couple of months ago was really dope, but I don't think it's going to fit my album. So you can shop it to whoever you want to shop it to, and we're just going to try to record some more songs, or I'm just going to try to get another record from you on the next project. But guess what you're left with? Wasted time. Wasted opportunities. No monetizing for the work that you put in. But if you are able to negotiate a fee up front before you start working, then at least the time that you are spending could be accounted for by payment for your hours that you've been working with that artist or for that record label. Kind of makes a lot of sense. And it's really common sense. But can't be afraid to tell a person no. You can't be afraid to say, the way that you're doing business, I don't agree with it. I'm going to fall back and wait for another opportunity. Because what's the use of being successful and broke? What good does it do to brag and post about something that you've done, but you haven't gotten any money for it? What good does it do to see a plaque on the wall without a check? To see a Billboard award with no money? Doesn't make sense, does it? When you talk about it and you think about it out loud, it's really horrible. But we have to take control of our own business and speak on the rules that we want to accept and the ones that we are going to abide by. It's really simple. We can't allow any business entity, person, artist, or whoever it is to turn their rules into a law and have you think that there's no other way that they could do business with you. But you have to know how to maintain leverage. When you give leverage away, it's easy for the company, the representative, to tell you no because they have everything that they need from you. But if you show resistance in order to conduct your business and make sure that you are made whole for the work that you have done, then you hold your files and your masters until there's an agreement that you're going to get paid when you need to get paid. It's simple. If you do a job, if you turn in files for a project, if you deliver a master, you should be able to get paid. Not 45 days later, not 60 days later. But if you accept that, then that becomes the norm. Then the labels are able to conduct business with you the way they want to conduct business with you. I don't know any 9-to-5 job, any construction job, any contract work that's going to have a person working for them, and then after their job is complete, tell them that they have to wait 60 days to get paid or wait 45 days to get paid. It's not going to happen. They'll get sued if they tried it. But you have to understand the rules that people are playing with you. Because if you don't understand the rules that they're playing with you, you will be defeated.